Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to the Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to the 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Narayan. I welcome all of you here at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that watching this discourse locally, nationally and internationally, and I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted in the various groups from around the world. Today is day number 16 in our 22 days declared for the celebrations of the month of the Ramanujans. And on this day, day 16, we want to discuss in brief who Lord Sri Ramanuj is. So we stated he was born in the year 1017. 1017 in a place called Sri Perumbudur. Sri Perumbudur, it's spelled Sriperumbudur. And this place is in South India. I said briefly yesterday, I just want to restate today, that his parents could not conceive and his dad did a special prescribed ritual, and in his dream the Lord appeared and told him that he would appear as his son because the world was in darkness. And it was Lord Sri Ramanuj in the year after 1017 that gave to the world a loving God. It was Lord Sri Ramanuj that was the first in this Kali Yuga to give to the world the gift of a loving God. When I say to the world, I'm not saying strictly to Sanatan Dharma. Because in all religious systems that are invoked today, there is no prophet or saint that has given God a personalized description and has actuated God through scriptural injunctions. Everyone or most of the system place God somewhere far away in the sky. Sita, you're looking for God in the sky? Yeah, because you're not a Ramanujan. In Ramanujans, Lord Sri Ramanuj did away with that concept. Alright? So you carry on looking in the sky, Sita, while the rest of us find God right here in this ashram. Right, Sita? You were not here last week when we consecrated Lord Sriman Narayan in our main pond in the front. Were you here or not here? So why are you looking in the sky when he's right here in the front, down the driveway? Sita? So this is how Lord Sri Ramanuj advised us devotees of the Lord how to find the Lord. So he is the first in giving a proper, beautiful exposition on the attributes of the Supreme Lord. And he personalized the Supreme Lord. He personalized the Supreme Lord. He made you feel that you can touch, you can experience, and you can play with the Lord. Prior to him, in this Kali Yuga, aside from the descriptions in the Vedas, God was placed very, very far away in Sita's sky. In Sita's sky. It is Lord Sri Ramanuj that brought the God principle into the consciousness of his devotees and disciples. The first in this world. The first in this world, in this Kali Yuga. And it was later saints and sages in Sanatana Dharma that took God into their own philosophies, with small changes here and there. So remember, changing the name of God does not change God himself. Changing the name of God cannot change the person or personality of Godhead. Acharya, when I call you Queen, are you different from the Acharya that was born to your parents?
No.
So changing the name does not change the personality. Only thing Acharya feels greater called Queen. As long as Guru is alive, and as long as Acharya attends satsang, every day, in every discourse, at least once, I have to acknowledge the presence of the Queen. That's a deal, Acharya. It's a deal. As long as Guru is alive, as long as you are alive, every day you attend satsang or even come to the ashram, at least once I have to acknowledge the presence of royalty. The Queen. Alright? Are you understanding the greatness of Lord Sri Ramanuj as a spiritual master? As a spiritual master. He gave God life in the hearts and minds of his disciples. He brought God from an obscure and an abstract understanding, and he personalized God. He made God your friend. He made God your friend. No other being in this Kali Yuga, in any religious system, achieved what Lord Sri Ramanuj achieved in personalizing the Supreme Lord. You understand? He was just a figure in a coloring book. And Lord Sri Ramanuj took the paintbrush and he gave him distinct and beautiful colors so that the Lord can stand out from an abstract outline into the beauty that you see resting in our pond today. It was Lord Sri Ramanuj. All of you understand? That was in his spiritual domain, as a spiritual master. Then, as a philosopher, as a philosopher, he collated all the Vedas as per Sanatana Dharma, all the Vedic injunctions. And in his master stroke of the Sri or the Brahma Sutras, he gave an exquisite commentary in its absolute state. Exquisite commentary on the Brahma Sutras in its absolute state, unshakable. No other philosopher, no other being can shake this commentary on the Brahma Sutras. It is a rock solid performance. Rock solid performance, unshakable. Unshakable. Because it is the absolute truth as expounded in various aspects of the Vedas itself. Lord Sri Ramanuj, although a child within the consciousness of the 12 alvas, never used the Divya Prabandham in his commentaries. Never used the Divya Prabandhams in his commentary. He used absolute Vedic injunctions to show us that notwithstanding the excellence, the supra-excellence of the Divya Prabandhams, because it is not declared as an authority when debating, he himself, although he was immersed in the beauty of the Divya Prabandhams, he did not use one verse. He did not use one verse in any of his commentaries. He only used the Vedas as per Vedic injunctions. Can you understand the greatness of Lord Sri Ramanuj? He gave God to the world. He gave God to the world, not to South Indians and North Indians. He gave God to the world. There is no greater description of the Lord in any scripture than that expounded by Lord Sri Ramanuj. In his Vedartha Sangraha and his 8 other works, he gives the most beautiful, most beatific, most exotic, most exquisite description of the Supreme Lord. In his description, which has so much of potency that when you read his works, the Lord comes alive in his works and within your soul as well. In his works externally and in your soul internally. This is Lord Sri Ramanuj. And this is his mission. And his mission statement is equality for respect all, worship your. The world is one diverse family. This is his mission statement. He planted the seed 8,000 years ago. This tree is nurtured and blooming with the same potency that he planted this seed 8,000 years ago. He walked the walk. Every corner of North and South India. We are walking every corner of the globe. His message, but we are walking it through technology. He physically walked. He physically walked. And he was not afraid to sit and debate with the opposition. And the rule at that time in India was that if somebody convinces you with absolute scriptural injunction in a debate and wins, then you have to join that system. You have to join that system. So he went all over India defeating other systems which were not within the parameters of the Vedas. And he planted the seed of Sri Vaishnavism in the hearts, mind and soul of all that he came across. He was undefeatable. Undefeatable. The mission continues. We are also going to be undefeatable. And I want to reiterate, I want it to sink in that Lord Sri Ramanuj gave God to the world. And I've stated, by calling God by different names does not change who God is. So you can call him Allah, you can call him Christ, you can call him Jehovah, you can call him Yahweh. He is still the Supreme Lord. He is still the Supreme Lord. All of you understand? And this is why it necessitated us to declare this the month of the Ramanujans. Because in this month, the great entity, supreme entity was born to show God, to bring God into the hearts of humanity. No different than what is happening now. Yes or no? When you came here, Jessica, did you know who God was? Nilendri? Nadira? Sita, did you know who God was? Yes. Queen? Dave? Yeah. So we don't have to go back 1,000 years. Just go back a few thousand hours when you got here. Nobody knew who God was. And if Lord Sri Ramanuj did not reveal who God was to me through my Guruji, then I would not have been able to reveal who God is to. You understand? So can you see his relevance 1,000 years ago? and its relevance 1,000 years later. 1,000 years ago, it was not easy to document the life of this gigantic soul. Because it is spiritual, we have it retained in its original form. But today, Jessica can take all these discourses of mine, put it in a USB and keep it for the next 1,000 years. But when Lord Sri Ramanuj 1,000 years ago, when he gave his discourses, when he gave his teaching, they were writing on palm fronds. Writing on palm fronts. You understand? Today there's USBs, and 1,000 years later, who knows what will be there. So those of you who follow this system absolutely, 1,000 years later when I'm doing this discourse, you won't be. You'll be with Lord Narayan. But those of you who's taking a chance, Sita, we'll meet again. Another world, another place, another time, so that you can evolve. Sita, you don't choose the Guru. The Guru chooses you. And if you don't fulfill in this lifetime, Guru has enough time. So the first living entity in Sanatana Dharma is Lord Brahma. First living entity in this material universe after created by Lord Narayan is Lord Brahma, and the time scale of this universe starts from his day one. His day one. 28 cycles have passed already, and when calculated with Brahma's 100 years, it brings us to 155 trillion years have gone already. 155 trillion years have gone already. Then we have Abraham. Abraham of the father of the Abrahamic religious systems. From him, the Jewish system was born. Through him, the Christian system was born. And through him, the Islamic system was born. Yes? Okay. So, Brahma, Abraham, the times will tell you they could not have been the same person. Same person, because 155 trillion years have passed, and Abraham lived in Mesopotamia 4,000 years ago. 4,000 years ago. And there is some information that I want to say with love again, that his father was making idols. His father was an idol maker in Mesopotamia 4,000 years ago. It is where Sanatana Dharma had started spreading 1,000 years before. And I don't want to be controversial, but we say in Sanatana Dharma is scientific and absolute, and it is not a religious system, it is a scientific It is an absolute science for all of humanity, but evidence from Abrahamic scriptures, the Old Testament, states that Abraham's dad was making idols. And he left Mesopotamia and he went to Egypt. Who? Abraham. Which means, in those days, idols were only made by Brahmins. Idols were only made by Brahmins. Which would infer that Abraham was a Brahman. This might not be palatable, but it's the closest scientifically. And the Guru is not saying this. It's there. Go and look at the origins of Abraham. You'll find it on the internet. All right? And then use your mind. It's not at Sri Narayan Dham we say 1 + 1 is equal to 2. Mesopotamia, which is a region, the Vedic culture started 5,000 years ago, or neighboring region, all right, which will mean information, and therefore the similarity in the name. Brahma, Abraham, all right. Even the wife's name, even the name of Abraham's wife is Sarah, and Brahma's wife is Saraswati, all right. These are beautiful similarities, absolutely beautiful similarities going back 4,000 years. Going back 4,000 years, all right. And then you get Om, and what you think Abraham would have said? No, Shalom. Om, Shalom. Om, Shalom. Again, we're going back 4,000 years. Om would have been very evident in that region. Satisfied, yes or no? And then if you go a little further, if you take Om, you can call it Shalom. You understanding? You think it is better to glue our differences or glue our similarities? If we glue our similarities, there would be no differences. Because we're focusing on the differences, we have become dissimilar. And when we become similar, then we cannot differ. Yes or no? So, maybe we won't be able to convince a whole lot of people, but these are absolute truths which are found in the annals of time. Absolute truths which are found in the annals of time, and we should be brave enough to discuss these truths. We should be brave enough to discuss these truths. These truths do not make us superior. They simply make us equal. They simply make us equal. Religious tolerance is needed to save humanity. Religious tolerance. Look, today as I'm speaking, there's bombs being to and fro from Palestine to Israel. And this is why it was necessary for me to bring up this topic. Because this is on differing views of the same father, Abraham. He gave birth to both these religions that's at war today. He's the father of both these religions, is he not? Yes. Yeah. So if we understand the origins of the various religious systems in context, then there'll be no need to disagree. No need to disagree. Disagreement will be there, but not to the extent. I think over 200 people died in Palestine already, civilians and children, and about 12 in Israel. About 12 in Israel. You think we should just be as spiritual beings? Just watch this on the news. Jessica?
No problem.
Or you think we should intervene?
If we can intervene, Guru, then we must intervene.
Okay. Satisbhai? You heard what Mahakali said. We have to intervene. People might think we at the Sri Narayan Dham is involved in everything, Queen. People might think we get involved in everything. Yeah, my entire life. Maybe before these discourses get over, even in my material life, if something was not right, you can ask Mataji, I'll lose millions, but I won't associate with it. I could walk out of a deal, Dana. I could walk out of a business deal and stop for 3 or 4 months. You can check with Mataji. If it was not right, I didn't get involved in it. You understand? Or if I was in a deal, and if there was some criminality in that deal, then I would walk out, expose, investigate, and have the people arrested. I've got 5 minutes. So let me explain to you in these 5 minutes. In the year 2001, I was standing at a bus stop on the road 601, and I saw the most beautiful poster that I ever saw in my life. I saw a Muslim, I saw a Hindu in dhotis, and I saw a pastor in suit and tie. It was an organization called the National United Peoples Organization, NUPO. And if you remember my discourse, and I said on the 8th that when I was in school and I gave a speech because they wanted to take Sastri College out because one of the boys made some nonsense. So I had to give a unified speech and unite all of us. And in that speech, I was looking for a peaceful world where Muslims, Hindus, Christians, everyone could be together. I realized that 43 years later, on Saturday, we brought them all together. So when you think I saw this poster, what do you think my ambition in life was? To go find them and join them. I found them and I joined them. And when it was the most corrupt coalition of beings put together. And then I destroyed them and I jailed them. I destroyed them and I jailed them. The case took 10 years, many attempts on my life. Many attempts on my life. You think I cared? No. And here I am seated today, 2001, 2021. 20 years later, I can even give a small discourse. So this unification I'm looking for, Jessica, God already showed me how corrupt it could get. How corrupt it could get. And we're going to ensure that whoever joins us on this oneness bubble must be there for oneness and nothing else. Nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. But in every place you are, no matter how dark it is, there's always some benefit. And whilst I was there, and when I joined the president of this organization, I told him, give me a political assignment. And he said, no, you choose a political assignment. At that point in time, every household had summons from lawyers. Had summons from lawyers. Every household was inundated with execution, civil executions. Their furniture being sold, their fridges being auctioned, their cars being auctioned. Thousands of letters from school governing bodies. So I took that assignment. I took that assignment. We wrote to Minister of Education, Kader Asmal. And I showed him the Schools Act of 1998, wherein it was stated that if a parent defaults, the child can't be held responsible. We had the Education Attorney General, I think, or Director General, Duncan Hindle. Director General Duncan Hindle. We had a gathering at Chatsworth Stadium, and Kader Asmal sent Duncan Hindle to give us an explanation and verify what we were saying. And after that, these lawsuits were stopped immediately, and children around the country could educate themselves freely. So, my joining these people, Jessica, also had a positive results for those poverty-stricken children that were not getting their reports. And I did this physically. I went from school to school. We put an ad, contact us. We went from school to school. We got the reports of children with the law, within the parameters of the law. And we shook and rattled the governing body school governing body in South Africa. So the Guru has been doing work, Dave. Yesterday I was very pleased having supper with the Guru. All right. Guru just didn't fall from the broken ceiling that you see in the room. All right. Guru has been working hard as a humanitarian for many, many years. More stories will be revealed as the Lord wants it to be revealed. I'm not here to sell myself. And as we reveal these stories, Dave, you can get even closer to your Guru. All right. Today is your first day as a vegetarian. Dave, first day as a bona fide vegetarian. And as I said, you get closer and closer to the Guru. Maybe I have to extend my kutir. You can wear your dhoti. I'll get a bed for you. I'm starting that closeness program. I'm taking all the men and I'm eating with them. Can you see what's happening to them, Jessica? Yes, now your husband's physical address will be 28 Dunstable Crescent. Jai Shri Narayan.